Good, it is starting. Hello again to everyone. We are here for the fourth and last lesson of the TRACE project for best practices SMEs and all the other SMEs. We will talk today about how to communicate circularity value. So we're talking about the circular economy, how to become more sustainable, but how to communicate all this to your clients, to your stakeholders, to your community, and how this is connected to competitiveness in tourism business. So the title of this lesson is Communicating Circularity Value and Enhancing Competitiveness, Action Planning for the Circular Economy. For this, I would like to give the floor again to Professor Ferdi Okomos of the Rosen College of Hospitality and Tourism, University of Central Florida. And without further delay, Professor, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Would you please allow me to share my screen?
Yes, sorry, here we are. Now you can.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Antonio, many thanks for your wonderful introduction, and we are very pleased to share with our final short webinar on communicating circularity value and enhancing competitiveness. This will build on our previous webinars and discussions. By the end of this session, this webinar, you should be able to define circularity value and competitiveness in hospitality and tourism, and understand the link between circular economy and competitive advantage, and discuss strategies to develop and implement circularity and also communicate it, and share real-life examples of successful circular practices by SMEs, and develop an action plan to enhance circularity. Hopefully, our attendees, partners will enjoy and learn new things. Okay. Some definitions, simple definitions. Again, you can find similar definitions on each term. Circularity value is the added social, environmental, economic benefits derived from closed loop production and consumption practices such as reuse, recycling, and regeneration. Okay. The goal is to save money and also be environmentally friendly so we can use the resources and don't waste. And also it's in terms of clean environment, they are really important. Competitiveness is a key term. It is the ability to offer products and services more effectively and efficiently than competitors. Basically, it is in which areas you do better than your competitors. Okay. And competitive advantage is a long-term edge gained through developing and using unique resources, competencies, innovation, and capabilities. And sustainability can be one of them, circularity can be one of them. And eventually you achieve better results than competitors. Okay, so competitive advantage is measured almost very often by financial terms. If you are achieving financial results and other areas better than your competitors, right? And sustainability and circular practices can be one area that can give you a competitive edge here. And if you do really well and promote it really well. And as we mentioned earlier in previous webinars, especially Gen Z and Gen Y, new generations, they value sustainability efforts greatly. And since they are our employees, potential employees, current employees, and potential guests and current guests, so we need to pay attention to it. So circularity as a source of competitive advantage, and these practices can help you lower operational costs through resource efficiency. Okay. And it can help you have a better brand positioning with eco-conscious consumers, as we mentioned, Gen Z and Gen Y, and compliance with growing regulatory expectations from governments and other organizations, and attraction and retention of talent aligned with values. Basically, Gen Z and Gen Y, they prefer to work for organizations. They value green practices, circularity, and environmental management practices. And then through these practices, SMEs can build resilience, and they can have diversified supply chains, and they can reduce dependency on virgin resources. Basically, it will help you use existing resources. Okay. Just an example, Hotel Verde, South Africa, energy neutral hotel that reinvests in local communities, trains its employees on green practices. Just an example. It's all about, by using environmental management practices, or sustainability practices, how our business can become more competitive and achieve results better than our competitors, right? So how to communicate circularity value? Basically, transparent storytelling, explain what circularity means in simple terms, and we can use eco labels and certifications, and on-site visuals, posters, dashboards, QR codes, and now with the technology, screens are helpful. Even when you check into a hotel, there's a TV, it says welcome. And then you can use apps, businesses app, and then you can send messages. You can engage guests through behind the scenes tours and workshops, show your sustainability efforts, circularity efforts. Social media campaigns showing measurable environmental impact, and for example, there is an app, My Green Butler. It's an app for hotels to communicate real-time resource usage to guests. If you Google My Green Butler, there is a website. You can also download the app, and you can communicate with your guests directly, with your employees. And it's just a great tool to communicate. Some examples, the Conscious Hotel Amsterdam uses 100% recycled and upcycled materials and powered entirely by renewable energy, and circular food service, no single-use plastics, and they use local suppliers, and food waste composted, and promotes impact transparency via website and in-room displays. Okay. And Hotel Milano, again, another example, first zero-emission hotel in Milan, rooftop garden used to supply ingredients, growing vegetables, some herbs, smart energy systems and water-saving devices, and uses its green credentials as a marketing tool for MICE tourism, meeting tourism. Okay. And another example is Busiti Tara Beach Resort in Aruba, first carbon neutral certified resort in the Caribbean. Long-standing relationship with local farmers, a local farmer who receives all leftover food. And it implements a food waste pilot based on hotel kitchen guidance. And it introduced new bins that allowed staff to sort and track food waste. And another example from Senova Resorts, Maldives, and Thailand, implements full waste to wealth programs, glass bottles recycled into new glassware on site, organic waste composed and used in gardens, and gas carbon offsets invested into local education and reforestation. Okay. All right, what can we do? So in terms of implementing, we have 4 steps. First is analyze and plan. Define circularity vision and scope for your business. Identify key areas: energy, water, waste, food, materials. And sustainability goals align with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. These are very helpful. And you can plan key steps, identify smart goals, and select key actors within the organization. And also funding is really important. Without funding, you can't really achieve much. Form teams. Of course, it has to be really participative. You have to have some key actors and then working on these tasks. And each person has specific tasks and specific deadlines. And then we need to engage staff and stakeholders in planning and also later in implementing. In step 2, you install smart metering and energy saving systems. You introduce reusable packaging and refillable amenities. Shift to local and organic food sourcing. Enable recycling and composting infrastructure. This is the implementation phase. And the step 4, measure and monitor progress. Of course, we based on the metrics we choose, based on kilogram or energy and local sourcing, we measure, and we also use tools like GHG protocol, life cycle analysis, or carbon calculators. And then we involve staff in data collection and also measurement tracking. An example is Arctic Hotel Norway uses blockchain to certify carbon footprint claims. And we mentioned earlier, blockchains are becoming very, very common in tracking sustainability practices and local food production and organic food as well. And we need to reward employees and managers. We need to reward repeat guests who participate in our green initiatives. Not just repeat guests, all the guests who participate in our circular activities. Okay. And finally, step 4, we communicate and promote results. Create promotional materials, not paper, most likely. It will be electronic. Publish sustainability reports online. Share stories in newsletters, guest interactions, and on social media. And collaborate with influencers and green tourism platforms. So influencers are very influential now. We can invite them and they ask them to promote what we are accomplishing, achieving. And of course, social media, local TV channels, and other platforms, our website, are important platforms to promote our efforts and results. Okay. So I have 2 tasks for you, all right, for any business. The first task is conduct a circularity self-assessment for your business. And you can basically map your current resource flows: water, energy, food, waste, packaging, and identify at least 3 areas where waste can be reduced, reused, or redesigned, or energy can be reduced, basically. You may use tools like Circularity tool, and there are some other tools as well. Any search, Google search, will help you. If needed, we can also provide specific tools. And task 2, design and launch a circular pilot project. Select one department or ask each department. For example, in hotels, small hotels, housekeeping can be one area, or kitchen can be another area, department. And collectively, they can design and introduce a circular initiative, refill stations, composting, and supplier take-back programs. These are important. And then set key performance indicators and gather guest and staff feedback to assess performance and scalability. I travel very often and then often have these plastic room keys, okay? While I was visiting recently Portugal, in the hotel I stayed, they gave me a room key, which is not plastic, made from wood. Okay, just a simple thing. And compared to plastic, wood will, I think, more environmentally friendly, and it looks nicer when you hold it and use it. Just like give you an example. Okay. So some concluding comments in terms of our webinar today. Circularity is not a future option, it's a present necessity. We see some examples, some disasters happening, and really, really many issues showing global warming globally. That's why it's a present necessity. And SMEs can lead by embedding circular practices to reduce waste, lower cost, to lower cost and enhance guest satisfaction, and also loyalty. And employees' engagement and loyalty satisfaction are important. Communicating circular value creates competitive differentiation, and transparency, storytelling, and ecolabs help position SMEs as sustainability leaders in the eyes of customers and stakeholders. And circularity is scalable. Step by step, you can follow or pick areas. Start small with pilot projects, build internal capacity, grow your initiatives over time with employees and partner engagement and also guests. And when we collaborate with our employees, managers, and guests, and the impact will be much higher, bigger. And we can work with local suppliers, communities, authorities, and other SMEs, and to develop and implement circular solutions and share success stories. And we need to have regular monitoring and communication of results to build trust, enable innovation, and keep circular initiatives. This is really important. As I mentioned earlier, circular economy is a journey, and we need to start this journey as soon as possible with small steps. And we need to stay committed to learning, experimenting, and aligning circular strategies with long-term profitability and resilience. And of course, technology is our best friend. We need to use technology, check recent technological advances, and we need to continue sharing our efforts and achievements. And as we mentioned earlier, storytelling is really very important, sharing our success stories or our efforts. Okay, we have some references that can help you see some examples or find some information. I stop here and thank everyone listening. And if you have any specific examples or specific questions or discuss something, we will be happy to answer your questions and then discuss the issues, and also listen to your best practices in relation to communicating circularity value and enhancing competitiveness. Thank you. I remain here. I'm here to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. So it was again a very important, a very timely lesson for our SMEs. And all the examples you always put as a practical lesson are really useful for inspiring our companies. Actually, in Europe, we have a lot of focus on sustainability, but we see that also some examples coming from very sensitive ecosystems like the Maldives, the other places that you mentioned, are really very important, because in those areas, really tourism is one of the threats for the ecosystems, biodiversity, and the effort that communities and companies in tourism are putting to preserve their resources is really inspiring also for us. We will continue then the discussion with the SMEs and with the participants in the trace. Now, I just have a question that is coming also from our companies regarding the relationship between willingness to pay and this communication of sustainability and circularity. We see that from your previous lessons that some generations, Gen Z, etc., are very focused on sustainability aspects, and does it influence willingness to pay also? And so, can you offer your services also at a different price when you are really taking care of the environment? Would you
Okay.
think also from the studies that are ongoing?
The research studies in this area offer inconclusive findings, okay, conflicting findings. Number one, customers, when we ask potential guests if they are willing to pay extra if the hotel is environmentally friendly or implementing circularity practices or environmental management practices, mostly potential guests say yes. Okay?
Mm,
But when it comes to the action, the actual behavior, there are two hotels, let's say. One is €100 and very much focusing on environmental management practices. The other one is €80 and there is not enough information about if they are following sustainability practices, environmental management practices. Because Gen Z, they don't have financial funds, they may pick the cheaper option. Okay?
mm,
So intention is different than their actual behavior. But if there are two hotels, one is $100, the other one is $100 or $98, and at that point, Gen Z, Gen Y, or customers may prefer more environmentally management practices, the hotel, the business employing. At that point, it can be a key criteria for picking, selecting that business.
yeah, that's very important. Also, it has implications for policy and governance because, of course, it is an investment in some way to shift your current practices and to change your suppliers, for example, to have products in your accommodation, in your activity that are more sustainable, more healthy also for people, not only for the environment, also for people. So when you have natural materials, organic food, this is also more healthy and this is valued by people. On the other side, you can reduce costs by implementing circular economy organization strategies. So reducing the waste is reducing energy consumption, generating energy on the place. So all this helps to reduce the cost. So this can be balanced, let's say,
Yes.
a little bit the investment and then the reduction of costs that you obtain. And of course, you need to have a plan, also a financial plan for this to make it happen, to make it viable. But then it is so important once you have done all this, as you were telling today, it's so important to communicate in the right way all the effort because then at the same level of price, let's say, then people can choose the sustainable
Yes.
option.
And
So,
also, two other comments I want to share. Many of us look at reviews,
mm,
okay? And even the business reports a lot of sustainability efforts, environmental management efforts. What the customers are reporting online. And employees, there are websites they report either while they're working or after they leave, they report on their experiences. What the employees, our employees are saying about us in general, also specifically circularity, environmental management practices, and what our guests are saying about our practices, how impressed they are. They can be very influential. The message has to be consistent. Whatever you're posting on your website, sharing stories, your customers and employees should agree and support and say yes. So if employees and customers say, no, I don't agree, I didn't see anything, that can be detrimental. Okay?
Yeah, that's
One
right.
other thing is, for example, when we go to hotels, many hotels encourage us not to change our linens very often, not to change our towels very often, not to clean our room every day for environmentally management practices. We like these, but there are some reports based on these calculations. Hotels can save water and energy and all these good, but also, unfortunately, they say to their housekeeping staff, "Oh, we don't have many rooms today." And then some housekeeping ladies, maids, just they lose hours and they cannot earn money based on these environmental management practices. We customers have good intentions, but hotels are, let's say, businesses are saving money, but on the other hand, cutting labor costs through this. So we have to be very careful and also support our local labor.
Yeah.
Maybe housekeeping, maybe food and beverage. So employment is really, really key and important part of sustainability efforts. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Actually, this is a very important point, and thank you for highlighting it. And of course, this doesn't need to lead to losing working places, of course. So probably the company should reorganize also the work internally, making sure that if you have less work for this service, then you can be more focused on other services that are
yeah,
equally important and that can be enhanced.
yeah,
So, of course, this is like a balance to be found between
yes,
all the different goals that the companies and in general the tourism sector want to achieve in terms of sustainability. And it's so important to have a multidimensional perspective, like a multi-criteria
yes,
evaluation of all these, so that you can reach multiple goals at one time and not losing some parts or some people leave them behind.
yeah,
This is also part of a just transition, to say what is
yes,
called in Europe a just transition, which is very, very important. And of course, this is a focus that we need to maintain. This has also, again, implications for policies, on how policies and public institutions can support this transition without affecting like the jobs or the income
mm,
opportunities for communities, entrepreneurs, and workers. So all
yes,
those aspects are so important, and we are happy that in Trace we have addressed those topics. And in this final lesson, let's say, it seems like a little bit a summary of
yes,
what we have discussed over 2.5 years. And thank you so much for highlighting this
yeah,
and for answering
yeah.
to the question.
Another topic is we mentioned sharing results. If through environmental management practices, circularity practices, we have accomplished this. And also, at one point, maybe if businesses can say, we saved, let's say, this amount of money, all right? And then we have invested half of it to local communities, our employees, or this and that. That can have better impact. Or you can say, we saved this much, but we also invested more on sustainability efforts through new technology, through our training our employees or local events and so forth. That can generate more publicity,
Yeah.
and customers and employees may like it more, I think.
Yeah, really. So
Yes.
there are several examples also from those that you mentioned in the last lessons, again, about how companies are really becoming like an engine of communities, enhancement, regeneration, ecosystem regeneration, and investing those savings partially or totally in community projects. So we have also a topic of community-based tourism, which is growing, and we have had the final conference on community-based and circular tourism with many, many examples and good practices. So I invite those who were not present at the final event in Brussels to go back and look at the recording of this, because this was really a very interesting day again.
Yes.
So yeah,
One final comment is
yeah,
I often believe you always need one crazy dedicated person
yeah, that's right.
and one crazy dedicated organization to start new things. In Orlando, we have Rosen Hotels and Resorts. Mr. Harris Rosen, he started his hotel business. He started with a small hotel. Over the years, he bought and built several more. I think now they have 9 hotels. One of the leading hotel business in Orlando, still in American standards, it's still a small and medium sized business. Okay, but he started investing in supporting a low income community, Tangelo Park. He adopted a kindergarten and then middle school and high school over the years, and he gave scholarships to those students who finished at high school to study at a university. Okay? And he hired people from that community. It was high unemployment, high crime area. And over the years, there are attorneys, lawyers, doctors, teachers, thousands of people received training, received funding for scholarship, received scholarship. He changed that community's future, right, through investing in middle school, high school, university, their college education. And then the crime rate has gone down, the property prices have gone up, and many people have received education and so forth. Like an example, but he was the crazy guy, dedicated and didn't mind spending money. Just an example of community building, just an example of sustainability efforts in a destination. So you need some crazy guys, individuals, really dedicated and have specific goals and determined and to work on these, and others will join, but he or she needs to form a community, work together. And also, again, Rosen Hotels, they have a lot of environmental management practices that they employ very closely and monitor, and so good examples. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for this final example. This fits really well with the objectives of the TRACE project. Actually, it poses also a question about leadership. So, how important is leadership? And this one individual, one or two or three, so someone that is really able to be visionary, be innovative, overcome the obstacles, because obstacles are always there on our way. We need to build also relationships and our internal capacity, let's say, to go on and go on and go on and put the vision forth. That's so important. There are, yeah, we could tell about several examples, but we don't have a lot of time now. But what you
Yes.
said is really emblematic, let's say, about the process and how important is leadership. So we want to build the new leaders, the new champions of sustainability through also this training, or at least contribute to this in our little capacity. And I hope that those lessons and those examples and materials will be really helpful for
Yes.
our.
And I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to participate and work with you on these initiatives. And I mentioned crazy guy, you said champion. I hope our discussions and programs will help many of our owners, partners, and their managers and employees. So at least we will have some champions, some new initiatives, and will make a positive impact in their destinations. And if there are small impacts in each destination, and it's like planting a seed, it will grow positively, and it will all around the world we will have positive outcomes, and this world will be a better place to live and work and enjoy, and we can live this world for to our future generations.
Thank you so much. I cannot add better wishes than this. And thank you also for your words. So I just say goodbye to everyone, and let's meet for the next project, the next initiatives. We are here for you always.
Thank